Happy New Year everyone and welcome to 2021. To start off the year by talking about my new snorkel, but before we do that, I'm going to announce that we are now selling RuggedLife stickers or car decals. That's the one that you saw behind my vehicle in my previous videos. Now, if you want to order these stickers, they are $10 each, including shipping international. Go ahead and go to my Facebook page. It's the best place to make contact with me, RuggedLife. If you search for RuggedLife, you won't miss it. Facebook, send me a private message on that page and I will organize it for you manually. We are then going to be moving to an online store. In that online store, stickers will be available from there, so there's a website you can go to do that later on. And we're going to be selling shirts, jerseys and other merch as well on that online store, so I'll organize that shortly. One of the things I'm organizing this year are regular trail runs or day trips, so obviously local to Brisbane, Australia. So if you're around the area, keep an eye on that one. I'll keep announcing them on my future videos. So I'll be organizing day trips where we can meet people, have a chat about our X-trails and obviously do some fall driving. Practical fall drive and camping, that's what the content that I create. So before we get into the snorkel, there's one more thing I want to talk about. Being practical, all right? When do you need a snorkel? Or why would you install a snorkel? So if you follow me, if you've been following me, you've probably seen some of my footages when I've crossed, I've done a lot of water crossings, a few water crossings. I've done the Condamine River track local here. If you know that area, you cross the river 14 times. I've done that when my Nissan X-trail was stock standard, even highway tires on it. The only modification I've done is the differential breathers, and I've got that video in my mods playlist. Any videos any modifications, go to my playlist called mods in my YouTube channel and everything will be there. The airbox of the X-trail is behind the battery, about this high here. Originally, stock standard, there was a pipe from this box that goes here and basically ends up, there's a scoop that ends up in here, okay? Now I'll repeat this again, as per my previous video, I removed that because I installed a bigger battery, so there's no space for that thing now. And therefore, that air has been sucked in just behind the battery. There's a hole in there underneath it, like just, on the actual airbox. And that's one of the main reasons why I'm putting a snorkel. So as I mentioned, I've done a few water crossings. Water went up to probably the grill, was one of the deepest I've done. And the only thing I've done to avoid the engine from sucking air was removing a relay that controls the thermal fan. So that way when you remove it, it doesn't spray water towards the engine bay. And to be honest, I probably don't really need a snorkel because I wouldn't do water crossings deeper than, above what I've already done, okay? Because I just don't want my carpets to get wet, number one thing, and obviously the X-trail is just not the vehicle for it. I love water crossings, but I'll wait till I have a different vehicle for that. So why did I install a snorkel? Well, as I said, the main reason is because I don't want my engine sucking air directly from the airbox behind the battery. I don't want that. It's one of the reasons why I've done it, okay? And number two is obviously it looks good. So again, you got to be practical when doing these modifications. And I could probably say that most people that put in a snorkel on the X-trail probably want it for the looks because it looks nice, it looks good on it. So what snorkels are available for the Nissan X-trail? There is none off the shelf. This is from a Navara D22. There's two versions of it, one for a single battery and one for a dual battery. This is for a single battery. So I bought this from eBay, but I didn't pick the cheapest one that I found. I picked one from a Brisbane company that actually sells four drive gear. And the reason that I've done that is because I just wanted to buy somewhere local to support my local community, local businesses, and also to get local support just in case. So this snorkel is a little bit more expensive than the cheaper ones, but I think it is better quality. Like the quality of it, the finish, and even the fit is pretty good. And I think I'd say that it's because that I purchased, a little bit of a quality product. So when you buy a snorkel, it comes with a template, like this big paper sheet that you put over your vehicle, and you mark holes and cut the holes through. That's useless for us because obviously it's not for our vehicle. So you really have to be prepared to use your eyes and just line it up by doing that, and then just manually marking the holes and go for gold. Well, the first thing I've done is to cut the main hole where the actual hose goes into. So I used the hole saw for that one. So how I've done it is just manually shoved it here and then just estimated where that hole's going to be. That's literally what I've done. Marked it, just literally scratched the guards, and then just punched the hole. Once that's done, then I could insert the snorkel on that hole, and then I marked the other holes for the bolts, removed it, punched holes again on those things, and then to mount the actual thing, I didn't do the holes up on the bracket here, not yet. That's the last thing I've done. So I then removed the plastic bit under here, under the mud guard. To remove those, you've got plastic clips that goes around, so that's pretty easy, pretty straightforward. Anyone can figure that out. So remove that. That way you can kind of see underneath. And then I had to actually bolt it on. So what I've done was I then bolted the snorkel onto the guard, but to do that, because there's a nut on the other side and a washer on the other side of it, I had to partially remove the whole guard. So to do that, you got bolts up here. There's a few bolts behind. If you open the door, I think there's one screw there and a couple of bolts there or something. Pretty straightforward. Again, anyone can figure that out. If there's any tricky part, it will be this one. This area here, you have to remove the headlight. So there's a bolt there and a bolt here. Once you remove that, you can kind of wiggle and kind of take it apart. You have to kind of slowly but forcefully separate the indicator from the guard, that area there. That's pretty much it. This one, the bumper just slides. There's a few bolts that hold it in place as well. So it just kind of slides through a gap that holds it to the guard. So remove that as well. And then I just kind of peeled it open and then tucked my hand in there while my daughter was holding part of the snorkel, put all the nuts on the bolts, secured that, put it back in, like partially put it back in, and then mark the holes for the bracket. Now, as you can see, the bracket is pretty smashed. I had to smash it with a hammer because obviously it's not for the vehicle. So this was probably the most time-consuming part of this install, is to I had to do like 20 trial and errors to kind of put that in and bend it to the right angle. If you go over here, you can have a look and see that it's kind of bent. I had to kind of bend it that way, okay? And rather than using rivets, I used screws, self-tapping screws for those ones, and it's pretty secure. Like it ain't gonna go anywhere. That's pretty much it. And if you look here, I reckon the fit is just good. So if you come over here, if you stand here and have a look here, see the gap here? It's pretty good, isn't it? It's pretty flush. The front, the bottom's even better. It's like it just sticks to the bottom there. So you'll notice that it's not for the vehicle. Like if you look from here, you'll see that where it arches here, you can see that there's a bit of a gap. But apart from that, like the distance here and everything, it aligns perfectly. It's pretty good. All right. Now, you'll notice that it's actually not installed on the airbox. I bought a pod filter for it. So the issue is, if you have a look here, see, this is where your sensor, there's a sensor in here, right? And that sensor connects to this pipe here, okay? You can remove the whole box, but you have to leave this pipe and then attach your pod filter to this pipe. Because the sensor is not round like a universal kind of type sensor, it's kind of rectangular in shape, I decided to leave that piece, okay? I haven't installed it yet. I ran out of time last night. I need to buy different size hoses and stuff like that to get it to finish the install, but basically I might show that in my next video, but basically all I'm going to do is remove the airbox, put the pod filter from this pipe, and then in front of the pod filter, then obviously just a hose onto the inside of the guard connected to the snorkel. All right, that's as simple as that. Thanks for watching, guys. Don't forget your stickers, and don't forget to keep an eye on that online store. Subscribe down the bottom if you haven't yet. Like down here. Some other videos around here. Catch you later.